Hey, welcome back to our podcast, your go-to source for all things real estate and lifestyle in the heart of Fort Worth, Texas. I'm Jackson Christian Berry.
And I'm Jean Kristen Berry.
And together, we're here to guide you through the vibrant world of Fort Worth and surrounding suburb living.
We believe in creating a community where everyone feels at home. And that's why we're committed to bringing you honest, expert advice in a fun and friendly way. From the bustling streets of downtown to the serene suburbs, we've got the scoop on what makes each area unique.
Each week, we'll dive into the latest market trends, offer tips for both buyers and sellers, and share insider knowledge to help you make informed decisions. So whether you're a first-time home buyer, a seasoned investor, or just curious about some of the Fort Worth charming neighborhoods, you're in the right place. Let's jump into today's episode.
Welcome today to our podcast. We are talking about how to sell a house. So we're going to give you kind of an overview today of all of the different parts to from getting ready to sell all the way until closing and moving. So we're going to kind of overview that with you. And then if for more detail, if you need more detail on any of these topics that we're talking about today, we're just going to have you DM us. Let us know if you've got questions, specific questions we'll be happy to ask. And then we have, a seller seminar that is coming up that we're working on.
Yeah, we don't have the dates just yet.
Yeah, we just don't have the dates yet, but that is coming. So stay tuned for that. So I want to start off with, you've decided it's time to sell. You want to move somewhere else. You want to change your lifestyle. Maybe you need to get the equity out of your house. Lots of reasons that sellers decide to sell. And with that decision comes then you're starting a whole line of activity that's about to come down the pike. So to get your house ready to sell, you've got to first of all decide what is your motivation for selling. Are you wanting to make the most money possible that you can make out of the house? Are you just wanting to make it easy and have it convenient and have it be an easy sell? You just need to get some basic money out of the house and you're not trying to get top dollar. Are you at a place where you really don't want to do anything to the home? You want to sell it as is, maybe to an investor as quick as you can. All those are things that can be addressed in the sell. So depending on your motivation of why you want to sell and what you're trying to accomplish depends on a lot of this process. So, for example, if you are trying to get the top dollar, which most people, that's usually the direction they're going.
They want to be close to that at least.
Yeah, they want to be really close to that because they're trying to do something with the money. So if that's your goal, then you're going to have the first section of getting ready to sell a house is preparation. So you're going to be preparing. The way you're going to be preparing is going to be things like painting, looking at repairs, getting things working that's not working like they should, maybe a few updates. Some homes, it's to your advantage to go ahead and do things like put in countertops and to change out the flooring. That may make a big difference in how much money you can get out of the home. If that's really what you're trying to do, you may get dollar per dollar back on having done that particular update. The problem is that sometimes we have a lot of sellers that do updates and do things right before they sell that didn't really need to be done and that they don't really get their dollar per dollar out of it.
The appraisers I've talked to have always said that if whatever it was detracting value, then you will make up the amount because you were in the negative already.
Yeah.
You were in the red. But if it's something that's in working condition, that's standard for the neighborhood, that you went ahead and replaced anyways, you're probably not going to make the full return on your investment on that.
Yeah, it's more cents on the dollars.
Right.
So that's what and realtors can help you with that. We can certainly come out and take a look, give you an idea of the types of homes that are selling in your neighborhood and if that's a standard feature or if it's not. And we can help you make that decision. So but preparation is going to be key to getting the money that you want out of the home. Now, if you have things that are worn, you're probably going to want to consider how much money you might contribute to that. One of the things that we do a lot is we go ahead and have an estimate for whatever the issue might be that needs to be addressed. And that way you already have a dollar number in mind before you even list the property as to what you might offer a buyer for a concession for that item. So those are kind of the things we like to do to get you prepared. We want you to be as prepared as you can be when you go on the market so that then, you're ready to go with whatever buyer walks through the door.
Well, it's going to help with your pricing too. It's going to help with pricing your home because we're going to have already made the updates or at least be aware of the updates needed that will either, put you a shy less of where you'd like to be or where the standard for the market is or shy above depending on the upgrades you've done. So
Absolutely.
It helps a lot with pricing.
It can make a difference from anywhere from $5,000 to $25,000 in your price.
It totally depends. Yeah, I mean, when it comes to pricing, oh my gosh, like you have to. There's a lot of different elements we have to consider. We have to think of it as a competitive market analysis, where it's who also is on the market with us, and how can we make sure that we are where we want to be. Now, if you want to be the most desirable, you should undercut whoever else is on the market, so that you can then
You get picked.
You get picked, and so buyers come to you first, and hopefully cause a feeding frenzy because you look so much better than that other person does,
Absolutely.
right? That other house does.
And that's where staging comes in play.
Big play.
So we have a great stager, and there are homes that sometimes they don't need much staging, but there are homes, especially if they're vacant, that can use with some staging.
time.
And that really helps. We can do virtual staging where it's just done on the internet, and we add furniture and decoration into the photos, or we can do actual staging so that when people walk through the showings that they see that it's got furniture and items in it. So those are kind of the things to do. So preparation is first, preparation of the product, which is your home. And the second, what you were talking about, which is pricing. So pricing is also key, and you want to make sure that you dial that in, because if you're off the price, that can cause you to sit on the market longer. And if you sit on the market longer, well, then guess what happens? Then you aren't going to make the money you could have made.
No, and you have kind of, and you may think of it as like, well, then I'll just change the price when I want to change the price. The problem is you've accumulated so many days on market that you don't look like the same property you did when you were
Fresh.
When you were fresh, yeah.
Fresh.
I didn't know that. The way to say it. When you were fresh, new to the market, and everything was bubbly, right?
Yeah.
There's a honeymoon phase, and that does go away when it comes to pricing and coming on the market.
Yeah. Ideally, what we really like to shoot for our clients is that we have the price dialed in where it needs to be. We're in a good spot as far as the competition on the market. And during those first 2 to 3 weeks, you're getting like so much attention on the market, and that's when your offers start coming in. So, in the previous market, offers came in the first weekend, and you had a bunch of offers. That's not necessarily always happening right now. So it's gone back to a little more of a balanced market. And what you're seeing is that it may take maybe 1 to 2, even 3 weeks before you have offers come in the door. But that's okay as long as you are getting activity. If you're getting showings, you're getting calls, you're getting people looking at you online, that means you're still getting activity. So you're still in a good spot. So you just have to be a little more patient in this current market in most neighborhoods.
Yeah.
So, but pricing is key. So preparation of the product, pricing of the product.
Yeah, those are core.
Those are core, and if you can nail those, then that's going to help you with more money out.
When it helps you market it,
right?
So that's kind of the next phase.
Absolutely,
it helps you in the marketing mode because then you aren't being marketed as a property that's maybe priced too high. Where somebody says, "Well, I can get this over here for that same price. Why would I not? That's more square footage or more, whatever it is, a new bathroom, whatever." And so that works directly into your marketing. All of this funnels into how we present ourselves to the market as a whole.
Absolutely.
And so we do a lot of different things to do that. But you can talk about that.
Yeah. So things that are crucial for marketing is going to be making really sure that the property shines to its best, if at all possible, and get it in front of people.
Yeah.
So photos. So photography is crucial. Hey everyone, real quick before we get back to the show, if you're on Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube, we'd love to connect with you. We post a lot of content like this in case you miss an episode, along with more Fort Worth and surrounding suburb, local insights, and finds. You can find our team at the Christenberry Group on all social platforms, or you can connect with Jackson and I personally on our Facebook and our Instagram accounts. Just be prepared for lots of pictures of my grandson on either account. Now back to the show.
I still can't believe that some agents today are using their iPhones to do that.
And low light.
You can go on Zillow. You can tell when it's an iPhone. And it's like, y'all, like that does not look like a nice home.
Yeah.
You can be the best iPhone photographer ever. And it's like what you lack in professional photography is drastic.
Yeah.
Just a house can be the same floor plan, same everything. If it is iPhone pictures or if it's professional photography, it is that one gets so much more eyes, so much prettier. People shop through photos.
Yeah.
So why would you not want to put your best foot forward?
You get 10 to 15% less traffic.
Yeah, that's huge.
Because of the photos. Yeah, it's a big deal. So we got to have good photography. Sometimes aerial photography is appropriate. If you're next to something that's really important to see, if you're by a lake, if you're by a park, if you're by a wonderful, eating restaurant kind of row, if that's a thing that's a selling point. Yeah, if you have acreage, those kind of pictures need to be aerial. Videos, there needs to be a lot of videos for the property to show. Videos help bring attention to the property. Needs to be a social media campaign for the property. So those are all like marketing that has to happen. And along with marketing has to be communication marketing. So, part of marketing is helping people see all of the potential, all of the options with a property, with a product, right? So if you have somebody that comes through and they see it and they had an interest, also part of marketing is reaching out to that showing, reaching out to the
follow-up
agent,
to the marketing.
follow-up with the marketing, because that way you have the chance to communicate to them whatever they missed. If they didn't see a room, if they didn't notice that there was a brand new AC in the house, if they didn't notice that there was a park right next door, things like that you want to call attention to.
Or they didn't take the time to text the listing agent and say, hey, tell me about this property.
Yeah.
Because there may be details that they could have known if they just would have taken the extra step to do that. That we, by seeking them out and seeking the buyer's agent out, can just present to them. So we make sure that they know everything about your property.
Yeah, and really understand how it applies to their buyer.
Yeah.
So we can ask questions about their buyer and say, what is your buyer looking for? And try to make a match, right?
Yeah.
Try to make a match made in heaven.
It's right.
But that's all a part of the marketing. So marketing is really crucial for getting in front of people. And then we're hoping at that point this marketing is bringing in the buyer. So then we got to pick the buyer. So just because the buyer comes in doesn't mean that that's necessarily the buyer for the house.
Right. Yep.
So that will often require making sure that the buyer really is pre-qualified if they're getting a loan, really making sure they have cash. It's not a scam.
Right.
There's so many scams.
Yep.
No scam. Making sure that we really do have a viable buyer. And are they motivated to buy, or are they just playing around? So those are things that we can ferret out, and then also we can then begin negotiations. So as soon as we know that we've got a good buyer who really wants to buy a house and wants to buy this house, then we can start negotiations and we can negotiate the best terms. So there's a lot, there's like 50 some odd terms that can be negotiated in a contract.
At least, yeah.
So there's a lot of terms
Yep.
that can be negotiated. Contracts have a lot of items like that either the buyer or the seller can do that they can work out. So we want to make sure that we work that out best for the seller and make sure that
Every
they are
time.
represented well
Yep.
in that situation.
Yep.
So that also goes to your bottom line when you're a seller. So if you pay the title policy, buyer pays the title policy. If you pay survey, or buyer. If there's a big earnest money or a little earnest money, a large option fee. If you take your property off the market for a buyer for 7 days, and then they fall out and decide they don't want your property, well, you've had you've been off the market for 7 days.
Yep.
So you want some money for that
Yep.
time that you've been off the market. So things like that are what help you have a good experience when you're selling your
Totally.
house
Yeah.
and get it done. The other thing is we want to make sure that once we get everything negotiated with the contract, then at that point as the seller, you are preparing the property for closing, and we're preparing the buyer to get everything closed. So preparing the property may mean that you've negotiated repairs that need to be done. It may mean that you've negotiated maybe concessions to the buyer for repairs. So if there's repairs that need to be done, they have to be done by a professional, and you need documentation of the repairs. So those are all things that we can work you through. Hopefully you've got a great agent that's got some good vendor contacts for you. And as a seller, you want to make sure that you get people in there that are going to do the job right and get those repairs done. There's also an appraisal that comes through at that point. So we got to make sure that the property actually meets appraisal. And a great agent, if there's any concerns that it might not meet appraisal, a great agent is going to do an appraisal package
Sure.
for the appraiser that helps them see all of the comparable sales that you use to
Yep.
price it.
Yep.
So that's another thing that you can do to help make sure that the property gets all the way to closing. The buyer on their end, they're going to be going through their pre-qualification process. They're going to be supplying things like tax records and savings account and checking account records to the lender. They're going to be getting their insurance taken care of for the property. So they're doing all of their due diligence on their end to get everything ready for the file so that it can close.
Right.
There's also the survey that they're going to be making sure that there's no problems with any of the boundaries, and they're going to be checking title to make sure that there's no airship problems or any
Sure.
title that needs to be vested a
Yep.
different way. So those are all ways that the property gets repaired and goes to closing. A lot of that's done kind of behind the scenes, so the seller's not necessarily involved in a lot of that process.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, because
you'd be miserable if you were.
It's a lot, and you're kind of waiting and
Yeah.
waiting. But there are pieces of that, depending on the situation, that the seller does have to be involved in. And so that's where a real estate agent can help coordinate that, like a project manager.
Totally.
To get that done in a closing.
And then you close.
And then you go to closing, and at closing you sign your paperwork. The funds come across through the title company. It's either wired or you get a check. And then depending on how you've negotiated the move out process, the hope is that the seller moves out and leaves the property clean and ready for the buyer to move in. And then also, you may have a lease back where you stay in the property for a few weeks before you actually leave the property and are done. So that's all then worked out as far as the specifics of that. And you move out, and the buyer takes possession.
And you did it.
And then that we all celebrate, right?
Right, yeah. Big party.
Big party because you accomplished your goal of getting your home sold.
Yep.
So from start to finish, it's a rather long process. But from contract to close, it's standardly about 30 days.
That's all it is.
Can be quicker if it's cash. It can be like 2 weeks, right? Or it can be longer if you negotiate longer. It can be 60 days or more. But that's all negotiable, and it tends to be about 30 days.
And then you did it.
And then you did it. So you sold your home.
Yep.
So this is kind of just a high Eagles view of the process. These are kind of the stages of it, right?
Yep.
And we're going to go into more detail in our seller seminar.
Yeah, because a lot of sellers are buyers. So a lot of sellers have to sell and then buy. So that's a whole different way we strategize that kind of situation. There's a lot of different sellers who have homes that need a lot of work. So we price it, or we go about doing that completely different. So there's a lot of different ways to approach selling your home. And so this is more, like Mom said, this is more overview. There's a lot of opportunity to go into detail. So if you have questions about details, let us know.
Yeah.
Because we'd be glad to go into more detail and answer your specific kind of concern that you might have.
Yeah, just DM us, and we'll be happy to reach out and answer any questions.
Yep. Yeah, if you're on YouTube, comment below. That's great too.
Yeah, that too.
Yep, all the good.
Yep. And then come see us for our seller seminar. We'll keep you posted.
We'll let you know when
that.
that's coming. Yep, for sure.
We'll keep you posted on that.
Cool.
So thanks for joining us.
Hey, thank you so much for watching the podcast today. If this has been valuable for you at all, we sure could use your help getting the word out to more people. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, go ahead and give us a follow and consider taking just maybe 2 minutes to leave us a review. Both do wonders for our show with the algorithm, and on both platforms, all you gotta do, head over to our show page. On Spotify, hit 3 dots and select rate. And on Apple, all you gotta do is just scroll down to the show and say leave a review. So just click that. If you're seeing this on Facebook or Instagram, a like or comment puts all the good vibes out in the algorithm for us. And on YouTube, make sure you smash that like button, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you can be notified whenever we post a new episode. Join us again next week for more Fort Worth housing news and updates. Until then, y'all have a great week.